When we first bought our sailboat 3 years ago, it was only outfitted for light weekend sailing. And since then, we've completely transformed her into a floating home with all the necessary systems to keep our family safe and comfortable for extended periods of time while living off-grid and out in nature. Sanitation, laundry, fresh water, ventilation, even the ability to produce these videos. We can run all of these systems for long stretches of time completely off-grid. But all of these systems ultimately rely on one thing: electricity. Now, our boat's electrical system is relatively robust, but this week, a chain of events led to our electrical system completely shutting down, and we found ourselves anchored off of a remote island in the middle of the Aegean without any of the systems that we need to survive. So join us this week as we problem solve our way through the issue, overcoming one obstacle after another in an attempt to try to get our boat back up and running. Well, say goodbye to Santorini.
Yeah, it was pretty, huh?
It was pretty from the boat, I think, personally. So today we are heading north. So we've kind of talked about how we had to go against the wind all the way from where we were in Turkey to the Corinth Canal, which is like our short-term goal right now. Because in the Aegean, the wind comes out of the north and out of the west. And so we've made a lot of westing, which is really good. And so now if we can just get north, then we should be on a beam reach all the way to the Corinth Canal. So like this is the last day really where it's like we're really against the wind. We are going to the main town on the island of Paros. We haven't been there yet, so that'll be nice to experience something new. And Paros is supposed to be one of the coolest towns in the Cyclades, so I'm excited to see it. Our big goal this season is to sail all the way across the entire Mediterranean to Spain, where we'll leave the boat and fly back to Florida to have our baby. Now for us, that's a long way to sail in a single season. So for the next couple months, we're going to have to travel at a much faster pace than we're used to.
What's going on, Ben?
Well, we just lost power, like to the whole boat. The BMS shut off, and it dawned on me that we did a lot of laundry today, like a lot, and our bilge pump stopped priming after my fix the other day that just didn't work. So here I'm referring to a couple of weeks ago when our bilge pump stopped working. Now at the time I disassembled it and thought I had fixed the issue, but just yesterday the pump stopped working again, so obviously my initial fix didn't quite do the trick. So I've been manually discharging the bilge with the manual pump, but today I just forgot to do it and we did a ton of laundry and the bilge filled all the way up to the batteries. As far as I can tell, it looks like this connection here is the only connection that was underwater. So first thing I'm gonna do is disconnect that connection, and I'm hoping if we just let that dry, the system will start up again. I'm hoping it just detected a short or something and just shut everything down, you know? Yeah, and then the other battery and this contactor, it looked like it got wet, but it didn't submerge. So with any luck, if we just let this dry, plug it back in, it should just work. I sprayed all the affected components with electrical cleaner, which is a sprayable solvent that basically helps get rid of moisture. Well, I'm going to let it dry for at least an hour because I can still see there's a little bit of moisture, and I sprayed the heck out of it. But it's like the little crevices and stuff. I think it takes some time for all that to evaporate. Otherwise it looks good, you know, nothing looks crazy about it. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'll try to sleep.
We luck out that it's not a hot night without the fans. At least there's a small breeze.
Alright, well, I just went to sleep for I couldn't sleep at all, and Desiree's still asleep, so I tried to close all the doors so I won't wake anybody up. I think that these have dried. Yeah, all the moisture is gone. I'm gonna give this a shot, plug this in, cross my fingers. Before I plug them in, I'm gonna coat the contacts with dielectric grease, just in case, hopefully prevent them from corroding at all. Okay, nothing's powered. So let's turn on the BMS and cross our fingers. Okay, we have 13.2 volts, which is certainly not dead, right? So the batteries are not dead. Okay, let's start powering stuff up. Okay, well, obviously we've got power. The BMS is not turning off. It's not faulting. At least so far, crisis averted. Okay, well, I'm going to bed. I think I could probably sleep at this point. It's like almost 1 in the morning. We just lost power. BMS just shut down. God, I'm like sick to my stomach. What a freaking stupid mistake to make. Okay, so I got power back on. Basically, I got in touch with our contact at Ocean Planet Energy, Bruce. He's just like the man. He runs the place. He started the company, and he's been extremely helpful whenever we've had issues with our electrical system or whatever questions I have. And so, like, it's 2 in the morning here. Luckily, he's on the East Coast, so it's earlier for him. But yeah, he got back to me right away, and long story short, it sounds like that battery might be dead. We gotta do some more tests, but it's, you know, it looks like that's a possibility. But it turns out that we can run the system on just the one battery, the one good battery. All I had to do was like cut 2 wires and jump them together, basically, and that just completely eliminated the bad battery from the system. But we are able to run the system off of just the other battery. So obviously we'll have half the capacity, right? So we'll have to be really careful about how much electricity we're using, but we can run everything normally, which is great, which is really good news. Because my mind was going all over the place. I was like looking at heading to like a marina on the mainland, because like the marinas and facilities here are just not that great and they're expensive. I was like, okay, 18 hours to get there. If we leave right now, which is 2 in the morning, we can get there like right at sunset. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so I'm glad that we don't need to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and we'll just figure out what in the world we're gonna do about this issue tomorrow. Now, when we first imagined sailing around the world, we thought that we would probably sleep really well on the boat. You know, we were imagining the rhythmic sound of the water lapping against the hull, the boat just slightly rocking back and forth. But in reality, rolly anchorages, the wind howling through the rigging, and the occasional rain squall can make it pretty difficult to get a good night's sleep while sailing. And that's why we really enjoy this week's sponsor, Beam. Beam makes a sleepy time hot chocolate called Dream that has been clinically shown to improve your sleep. Dream comes in a bunch of different flavors, but our favorite has now become this cinnamon cocoa. It's super good. It's full of ingredients that help us fall asleep quickly, as well as that help us to stay asleep on those nights where we would otherwise just be tossing and turning. Which is important because adventures are so much better when you've had a good night's sleep. Click the link in the description below or scan this QR to get up to 40% off.
How'd it go last night, bud? I passed out.
It was a long night.
Yeah.
I'm so sleepy today.
Yeah.
The only thing we really need to do is we need to reduce the amps coming out of the alternator. Lithium batteries can accept as a charge 50% of their capacity. So they were 600 amp hours, so they could accept 300 amps of charge. Now they're 300 amps, so they can only accept 150. So I am reprogramming our alternator to set a limit for 150. The big issue here is actually the fact that there's some strong winds coming in tonight, and it's actually our first Meltemi of the season. So it's like a strong northerly wind, and it's gonna last for a couple days. This is a really good spot for the Meltemi, but starting tonight, we can't really move. We can't go anywhere for a couple days. So like, this needs to work. Okay, here we go. Okay, it looks like it's increasing. Okay, it's at 130, 140, 160.
I thought it was not supposed to go over 150.
170. Yeah. Okay, well, obviously I didn't do something right. Okay, so I wasn't able to get the alternator regulator's charging limit to work, there's some other limit that it's prioritizing, and I don't know how to access it. So Ocean Planet Energy is located in Maine, and so I'm gonna wait till later today and then communicate with them on how to get this thing to work. What I've done in the meantime is I've just reduced like the output by a percentage that it is approximately what I want it to be. And I'm just adjusting the RPMs to not go over 150. So this is a like super not perfect solution, but like we're going to hopefully fix it this evening. And right now I just want to like get the battery topped up so that we don't need to worry about it. Luckily, the battery was able to completely charge without an issue. So the next thing we had to do was head ashore to stock up on groceries before the strong winds came in. Okay, so this dinghy is like comically full right now. Okay, let's get to the boat, see if we can sort out that alternator. Today was supposed to be a relaxing day.
I know.
You doing okay? You feeling sick? Oh my God. This is like a when it rains, it pours situation.
How's it looking, bud?
Good, so I got in touch with Ocean Planet Energy, and they had me send them the regulator profile that I had created, and then they just tweaked a couple things. I imported that profile. Basically, I want to see if I give it like lots of RPMs, if it stays below 150 amps, 120. I mean, this is already better. 140, give it some more RPMs. Yeah, I think that did it. Because now it's at 147. Before, if I gave it this many RPMs, it would be at like over 200. So I think that did it. Very good news. So we have a fully functioning system that's at reduced capacity. I don't know if living in a house, if this happens almost ever, where it's like 1 minute, it's like your whole world is functioning just fine, and then next minute your world is not functioning just fine, you know? It's like if your car breaks down on the freeway, it kind of feels like that, except it happens to your home, you know? Hey, Stinky. Is it windy out here? The winds did eventually pick up, and we spent several very windy days in the anchorage, hunkered down and working on episodes. But when the winds did finally calm down, it was time for us to pick up the anchor and continue on our way. Whoa, what an exciting freaking morning. That was crazy. Like, we got the sails up and then boom, we got hit by like 17, 18 knots of wind. I was like, we're doing it, you know? But that wind funnel effect is over, and we're now calmly cruising in like 12 to 13 knots. We're doing over 6 knots ourselves. We're beam reaching, which is awesome. I saw the forecast today. I was like, I could really go for a sail today, you know? Like, I could use a solid sail. So this is really doing a lot for my soul right now, you know? So our time in Paros was a little bit hectic, right? And we didn't really get to explore. We didn't get to really know the island. The good news is that we were there for a couple days and we were able to get into a new rhythm with the single battery electrical system that we have now. It's working fine. So like, it's handling our loads. We're able to recharge just fine. Like, it should work out until we can either get the bad battery fixed or replaced. So today we are sailing to an island called Kythnos, but we're actually only going to be there the night. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to set sail again to another island called Paros. So we're going to be leaving the Cyclades Islands and heading into the Saronic Islands.
Hi, good.
How are my ladies doing?
I'm seasick. She's doing well.
Yeah, she looks like she's happy.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Well, good news is we should be there in like 2.5 hours, something like that. Looks kind of like we're gonna anchor on the surface of the moon or Mars.
Yeah, it looks crazy, huh?
It's very sparse and hot. Looks like the land was like burnt to a crisp. Definitely feels like we are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, bud, so the anchor looks good. I'm gonna go take Oso ashore.
Okay, have a good time.
Okay, how are you feeling?
I'm like on the edge of throwing up every time of day. Oh my God, I can't even think straight. Every day this time I feel like I'm gonna just break down.
Yeah,
Okay.
hope you feel better.
Thanks.
Poor buddy. Well, I know Oso's gonna be pumped because he hasn't gone for a walk since yesterday morning. Man, this is an amazing place, like just so desolate feeling. But like at this time of day, sun's starting to get low in the sky, it's really pretty. Yeah, so these look like old fields, which doesn't look like anyone does anything with them now, but you've got lots of these walls. I mean, the walls go all over. At one point, people put a tremendous amount of effort into building all these walls out of stone. You want to know like why and what happened and the story of the people that lived here. Yeah, look at the way they designed these with the stacking rocks and then these big flat ones. It's so interesting. So I see one of those off-grid, middle of nowhere chapels up this hill. I feel like I'm definitely not going the right way. No shame in climbing on all fours. Okay, here we go. How you doing there, Bozy? Okay, there's the chapel. I feel like there's gotta be well, this is kind of a trail. Look at this. It's just built right into this ridge. This is so epic. Oh, so go check it out. Huh, there's like paintings and stuff in there. Yeah, it's locked. Definitely don't want to break into a chapel. That's bad juju, man. I gotta say, when we were first rolling up on this anchorage, I was like, dang, this looks pretty desolate and pretty hot. But now that I'm experiencing it, it's pretty freaking cool. I do like it here. Whoa. Look at this rock formation, dude. Like, how does that happen? Right up against the back of the church. Nice. Oso's checking it out. See, Oso, you inspire me, buddy. I wasn't gonna come up here, and then Oso's like, we gotta check it out, bro. Man, what a place. Gotta say, I'm really digging the whole new approach that we have of seeking out anchorages where like they're not popular, there probably aren't going to be other boats. Like, there's a couple anchorages on this island that are probably packed, and they're probably beautiful in like a more conventional way, but like, this is sweet, dude. I just want to keep doing more stuff like this, you know. How's dinner, buddy? Looks good.
It's good. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the first trimester of both my pregnancies, but like food just tastes gross. So I don't know if it's good. You'll have to tell me.
Yeah.
To me, it all is just like, bleh.
I'm sure it's great.
I really, really like this anchorage.
Yeah.
I think just going off the beaten path should just be what we do from now on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, I think this is stunning.
Man, it is just so peaceful here. It's crazy. All you hear is the water and the wind.